If you're in cash-based healthcare practice or want to be, but the idea of setting your cash pay pricing or raising your rates freaks you out, don't worry, you're not alone, and tune in because in this video, I'm going to show you exactly how to price your rates to make sure you and your staff are getting paid what you're worth while not pricing yourself out of the market, and how to raise your rates when necessary with minimal pushback from current and past clients. This is obviously one of the scariest but also most impactful topics and parts of being a cash-based practice owner, and we can face it with full confidence and low risk when it's done correctly. Hello and welcome to today's episode. My name is Jared Carter. I'm a physical therapist, a successful cash-based practice owner since 2010, and the creator of the Private Pay Profit Formula. I help my colleagues just like you to create their own cash-based out-of-network or concierge practices so you can, in reliance on greedy insurance companies, provide a level of care you are ultimately proud of and reclaim control of your profits and your future. So if you're new here, I would really consider subscribing because I put free trainings out like this all the time, and they always have a free resource associated with them designed to help you get results faster. And the free resource for this episode is my cash-based physical therapy Superbill template and out-of-network coverage guide. So you're going to get a beautiful template of exactly what a Superbill needs to have on it in order for your patients to get the most reimbursement out of their self-claims and minimize the pushbacks from their insurance companies, as well as a series of questions that you can provide to any lead or prospective patient who wants to figure out how much it's actually going to cost to see you versus an in-network option. You can download that incredibly valuable resource at drjaredcarter.com/episode 32. Okay, let's dig in and let's start with setting your rates appropriately. A big issue I see with practice owners, whether brand new or those who have been in practice a while and they're dropping low-paying contracts, is that we have been in healthcare as a whole price anchored, it's called, anchored to the pricing and the rates and the out-of-pocket amounts that our patients have been paying for our services, whether with us or with other healthcare providers, over time using insurance. So for an example in physical therapy in my world is coming out of working in private practice for someone else and then starting my cash-based practice way back then, I was used to most of my patients only having to pay $25, really at most, to spend an hour with me. And that has the unfortunate effect of making you over time kind of anchor your price or your worth of that hour of your time to what people have been paying. But of course, that's not what's in all being paid for your services when insurance comes in. So I want to give you some mindset hacks that will help you to kind of dissolve, at least to some degree, that anchor to those lower prices that are far less than what your services are actually worth, so that you can actually appropriately price your service, still keep it affordable, but not price yourself out of the market at the same time. First, think about what other service providers are charging for their time and their expertise who aren't tied to health insurance or to insurance picking up or anyone else picking up some of the bills. Think plumbers, think electricians. Just the other day, I had a refrigerator repairman at my house, and it was $250 just to have him come out and fix this one little component. And I didn't blink an eye at it because I needed my refrigerator to be cold again as quickly as possible. And I wasn't used to that kind of service being covered by insurance and only being $25 or some low kind of copay approach. Same thing with like personal trainers, one-on-one Pilates and yoga instructors. These folks are charging often 3 figures for their services, yet as a new practice owner or someone transitioning out of network, we freak out about the idea of asking for over $100 for an hour of our care. So think about when insurance is removed from these other services, what the general public is accustomed to paying and what they're willing to charge without batting an eye. The second thing I'd like you to think about is your education, your background, maybe the amount of debt it took to get you where you're at. But especially, that's a key component, but I think an even more important thing is to think about what we do for people. Let's say you're a physician and you're adding multiple years of healthy life to your patients' lives with your services. Think about what that's worth. Let's say you're a physical therapist like me and you're getting somebody back to a beloved activity. You're making it possible for them to keep up with their grandkids on the basketball court or go hiking with their spouse, which is like their beloved thing. I mean, we change people's lives in such huge ways. What if you're in pediatrics, say you're a speech therapist or an occupational therapist, and you make it possible for a little child to communicate and interact and make friends and be with their peers in a wonderful way? I mean, what is that worth? To me, these things are priceless. And this is coming from somebody who spends $50,000+ in cash pay therapies for my own children every year. So I'm telling you, as not only a business coach, but also as somebody who I'm the biggest cash pay client out there, I'm telling you that when you know how to convey the value of your services and you're providing these things that are truly life-changing to your clients or to their children, then these things are priceless. And you need to really keep that in mind as you do put prices on an hour or a certain time frame with you or your staff. So now that you have some mindset components to help to open you up to what your services are really worth, now go ahead and do some market research. These days there are a lot of cash-based options in most markets, in most healthcare fields. So you should be able to find at least a few other practices and make some calls or get someone else to make some calls and figure out what are they charging for their time. And then you're going to combine the mindset component, your market research, and some pricing psychology that I'm going to explain right now to kind of come up with some initial pricing or maybe the next price that you want to raise to. So those milestone pricing psychology is essentially that there's not a great deal of difference between these different milestone price points. In other words, the difference between $100 and $150 mentally is not huge, but when you go from 2 figures, under $100, to 3 figures, over $100, that is a big difference. You're going to get a bigger chunk of people just making a small change from like 95 to 110. You're going to get a big chunk of people that might not be able to make that jump with you. However, once you're at 3 figures, when you're at that 110, there's very little difference in the amount of people that are going to say yes to 110 and say yes to 145 or 149. Right? And so there is a psychology or principle in psychology that once you've broken past these milestones, you're leaving a lot of money on the table by not just going up just underneath the next milestone. And those milestones are generally $100, $150, $200, $250 and beyond, right? Think in those $50 price increments. If you're setting your pricing, you're like, oh gosh, maybe 110, 115, I'm not sure. Like I'm telling you, there are very, very few people that are going to say absolutely yes to 115 who are going to be like, oh, no way, I can't say yes to 140. The amount of people that would say no to that price differential is nothing compared to the amount of money you're leaving on the table by starting at 110, right? You will get a few no's, but not nearly enough to accommodate for the loss that you would have by not just bumping it up and getting right underneath that 150 price point. So with all that said, one more thing about pricing or initial pricing of your services. It does not do you any favors to be the second or third most expensive option. What I mean is, if you're going to be close to the most expensive in your market, then you need to be the most expensive, or you need to say, maybe I compete on price. I go a little more for volume. And I'm going to let you make the decision on what you want to do there. But you either need to compete on price against the other cash pay options in the area, or you need to be the most premium. Don't be the second or third most expensive, because those who are looking at price and shopping around, they're going to go with someone way cheaper than you. And those who don't really care about that, honestly, being the most expensive in their mind, it's like, oh, well, that's the most expensive. That's probably the best option. I'm going to go with them. So there you have it. Some really key steps that you can go through to set your rates appropriately, not price yourself necessarily out of the market, but have maximum profit for the service that you're providing. And obviously it has to be a high level service that's way above what they can get using their insurance or paying drastically less out of pocket. Now let's talk about how to minimize pushback when you need to raise rates. Now some, and I've made this mistake myself, some think when you're going to raise rates that you have to send a notice out to all your patients. Now you might want to check with your state practice act and any state laws, maybe a healthcare attorney in your state, to make sure, like, do I need, if I'm cash pay, if I'm not in contract with certain insurances. If you're in contract with certain insurances, then you're following that contract when it comes to pricing. With your out-of-network patients, there may be state laws that say you still have to notify all past and current clients. And of course you do have to let your current clients know if they're about to have to pay more, right? But I am not a big fan, if you're not legally obligated to, is sending out like an email to all your client list and letting them know that your rates are going up. And the reason is, just like with leads and prospective patients, if you do that, there's going to be some that, if let's say a lead was on your website and you were listing pricing, and like, nah, that's too much, or I wasn't expecting to pay that much, right? However, if you get that same person on the phone, you can make the conversion. So let's say you've sent somebody an email, or all your list an email, you're gonna have those people who are like, next time I need therapy, I just don't think I'm gonna go there. It was already a little bit high for me. I'm just not gonna make that call. However, that same person doesn't know you raised your rates, gives a call, and you've got your person on the phone trained really well. And as they notify them that since they've been in, the rates have gone up to this level, then they can at least usually get them to come in for a free consult with the person they had a great experience with before. That person can then redevelop that relationship, give them an idea of how many visits it's going to be, and that person that would have never called again is all of a sudden a client again for at least one more plan of care, and you've saved probably 4 figures for your practice. And the next thing that I would say is a series of things, or you want to make sure that you do something with your current clients and with your past clients when they're learning about your new rates that kind of gives them something special for being a loyal customer, that as you're delivering that not so great news, there's also some good news along with it. And so a few different options there are as follows. One would be that you let current clients know, hey, for all new clients coming in, they're now paying $195. You're right now, of course, only paying $145. And for the next 1 month or the next 3 months, or you kind of look at your niche and maybe it's close to the end of the year. You've raised your rates in November, you say, but until the end of the year, you're going to get to continue paying your current rate, right? For being a loyal customer, I want to give that to you. So you let them know, hey, you're getting something special. Everyone else is paying here. You're going to continue paying here until this point. That's one option that you could use. Secondly, for your past clients that call back since you've raised rates, when you let them know about the new rate, you could, and you don't have to do this, but you could say, however, what we're doing for our loyal past clients is that we are allowing them to come in at the previous rate for 1 visit or for 2 visits, whatever you want to do. Again, giving them that, hey, loyal customer, thank you for coming back. Here's a little bonus for you. And then another tactic that one of my mastermind coaching clients has used, and she's raised her rates, I think 4 or 5 times since she's been in that program with me for the last couple of years. And it's really cool because she always gets this big cash flow pop when she does this, but she'll raise her rates at a certain time period. She's pretty regular with it. Kind of at the beginning of each year, the rates are going up. She actually will email her client list. And the only reason I'm okay with it is because of what she does. She emails and lets them know, hey guys, to keep up with inflation and increase in my overhead, I am going to need to raise rates at the beginning of the year. However, if you would like to lock in a certain number of visits at the current price, then I'm selling these packages, 5-session package, 10-session package, 20-session package. So you can lock in a good number of visits at our current rate. Let me know before this time period so we can make that happen for you. So she'll offer that to current and past clients, and she'll not only reactivate past clients who've been needing to come in for that stiffness or whatever has kind of come back, but her current clients, I mean, she's lost 0 clients. I think she said once or twice she's initially lost the clients and then they went somewhere else and then 3 months later they were back. So she's literally lost no business from current or past clients. And every time she does this, she makes like 20, 30K plus in these package sales. So using all those strategies, you should be able to set your rates well with confidence, with the right mindset of knowing what you're worth and charging what you're worth, and raise your rates with confidence, minimal pushback, and minimal loss of clients. If you enjoyed and appreciated these strategies and this video, please share it with a colleague, anyone you think could benefit from this. Tag them or send this their way. If you have any questions or comments, please leave those in the comments section below. And again, don't forget to get your free resource for this episode at drjaredcarter.com/episode 32. Get that Superbill template, help your patients to get the most reimbursement with their self-claims, and arm them with the right questions to understand why they should work with you and what the true cost of care is going to be with you compared to their in-network options. It is a hugely valuable resource. Again, drjaredcarter.com/episode 32. Thank you as always for joining me, and I'll see you in the next episode.